So we have a BMW E36 318IS in for a clutch. It is making a terrible racket through the gearbox. I'll see if I can capture the noise. This little lover is on 76k, and I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a horrible grinding noise. So we will be fitting a lovely LUK 3-piece clutch. These are OE on BMW, and it is only the finest that will do for this little bad boy. So first things first, once you've admired how clean it is, disconnect the battery. And most BMWs, they're in the boot, but on this one, it is in the front. So we're going to disconnect that, let it decharge, and then we're going to start removing the clutch. First up, disconnect the plug for the lambada sensor, arriba. And then reverse sensor plug, we're just going to pop that out. And then it's 2 bolts for the slave, shouldn't need to bleed the slave on this one. And then working backwards, exhaust out of the way, and we'll keep it moving and keep you showing you how to do this. Okay, so exhaust bolts come off nicely. We needed a little bit of heat to get them out of there. Slave cylinder is off. We can see inside the gearbox now, which is good. Prop shaft, it was 3/18s, and they've given you a nice little inspection hole as well. Then we are going to disconnect, probably from this side because it's easier, a little clip there, and then pull that out. There's 2 little plastic washers either side. Be very careful, do not lose them. Then on this side, you've got this little hook clamp. I'll show you that in a little more detail. That's on all E36, E46 range. Flick that out, pull it out, and then that's the gear selector disconnected. And then we've got to work on the big boy, which is the starter motor. These do like to seize in from the top down. The top down is there, but it looks like this starter motor has been replaced. So hopefully someone greased it and it won't be too much of a difficult thing to remove. So now they're removed. This is the pin in question I was talking about. So it goes through there, and as you can see, locks in, okay? Don't lose them, very, very important pins. And that's the other side pin that we're talking about now. It is operation remove all the gearbox bolts. And what I've realized is this bracket's gonna have to come out because that's obviously for the lambada sensors, not attached to the gearbox. And that's just 113mm on the side. Now I know there's not a lot of E36 318s left anymore. So hopefully this is gonna help someone somewhere. So I'll make a list of all the E-sockets. We're leaving the 2 in at the bottom. Starter motor come out a dream. Then we're going for the bolts up at the top, as you can see there. Loads of extensions, people. In this situation, extensions are your friend. And then once that's out, we're going to support it, undo these 2. Maybe need to put a block at the front of the engine to keep the engine canted round, but as a 318, I doubt it. And then exhaust is coming off. Gearbox is coming off. All right, the last 2 bolts are out. We've got the spider of the jacks to support it. Time to get the gearbox out. Nearly forgot. Remove this 10mm and the gearbox will come out once it's fully unbolted. Do not forget there is a 10mm on the inside of the plate to the gearbox. So we just get a little dacker on the 10mm. It's got a little neck. All right, now with a little nip and a tuck and a little shawiggle, we have a gearbox out. And we are coming around. This is indeed a jet drag gearbox. Coming down, doing this one-handed while my other mechanic supports some lowers. Doing good. Right, I'm gonna stop recording now before I lose some fingers. That does look like an OE clutch. Just to settle some curiosity, that is indeed an original BMW clutch, and the original supplier is LUK. So with a little bit of luck, this will be done in a bit. So, as it says, gearbox side. That side goes pointing towards the gearbox. We're just about to set up the clutch alignment tools, so it must go like that because obviously gearbox goes through here. The clutch alignment tool in and tight. It needs to be square onto the pressure plate, so that's what we're looking for. But in the meantime, I must show you the old clutch. Look at the state of that. And yes, it is an original BMW. That is silky smooth, people. So that is fully worn out. So that's what it should look like. Well, we come to a grinding halt with this because you'll see there's 2 different boxes. So on this particular model of E36, or all E36s, you get clutch, this clutch, which is for a air-con model. And then you get this clutch, which is a non-air-con model. Now, from what I can tell, the friction plates are different, but it's the pressure plate that is mainly different. So that is the one without aircon. See how thick that is? Let's just move this over. And we can instantly see the difference of girth in that one. So if you are doing one of these, it is very imperative to know whether the car has aircon or not, because that affects what clutch that has. In all my years of chucking spanners around, I have never known there to be a difference of aircon and without aircon on a clutch. But nevertheless, it is what it is. We'll fit this one. We're still using quality LUK. It's always fun in the motor trade, isn't it? So we're going to replace the release bearing. As you can hear that, it sounds like a child rattle. So let's change that. These just pop off, and they'll clean that swarf out in a minute. Actually, I'll do it now. Right, that's clean. Here's the new one. And just slide that on the shaft there. It is really a two-hand. I need to upgrade my camera equipment, so if anyone's got any good ideas of what to use, that'd be useful. Need two hands. All right, release bearings in. A little bit of copper slip here. Just a little bit on the spines just to help that go through. And just a little bit around there. That's kind of pointless, I know, but we're doing it now, so. Bit more on there. And then definitely some on there to line up the starter motor. All right, we're going to put the clutch in, and then we're going to chuck the gearbox on. Oh, riggedy ready. So the clutch is in, torqued up, paint marked, all very good. You can even see the day I did it, so when I eventually get to post this video. Now we are going to chuck the gearbox on, make sure that is lined up and it is all looking good. And the word you're seeing there in German means gearbox side. Just for anyone that needs to know. So, gearbox on time. With a bit of a fight, starter motor's in, all the bolts are on, they're all done up tight. Couldn't actually find a torque setting for these, so I've gone with double FT. Not the correct torque setting, but normally pretty good. I can't remember if I put it, but slave cylinder's in. Prop shaft is in and bolted, 18 mils either side. And then 4 13s, and then you do up the mounts there. And the annoying clip at the top is all done. Now we've literally just got a couple of 13s to do, a couple of brackets, and then the exhaust. And then we can see if we've got drive. One thing I forgot to mention, which you probably should know, is when you're doing it, obviously jack the rear of the vehicle up. We've jacked it off the diff. So you can rotate the prop shaft, so you can actually undo the bolts which are in there, the 3 18s. 18s on both sides as well. And just like that, we've got an exhaust bracket, and I've just found out I've got 2 loose bolts here, which I'm going to do up right now. And everything is in and on bar that. So last couple of bits, then it's time for that glorious road test. And we're going to lower it down. I have a lovely soft spot for the E36. If it was a bigger engine, a 6-cylinder, I'd be so much more happier. But for now, a clean 318 IS is, it will do. Now we're complete. Then connect that. That's a 13 to whiz up, but we're going to find out if she runs okay first. All important, we have clutch. We have gears. Now we've got starter up. Alrighty. Sounds good. Doesn't sound like we've got any exhaust blows. Do we have drive? We have backwards gears. And we have forwards gears. Time for a road test. As I'm on my own today, got to stick it in, reverse the engine off and make sure we have reverse lights, which we do. Speedo works, she's driving fine and selecting gears fine. Yeah, I'm happy to report that this one is done.